What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of the worst high school in America. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. Now, for those of you that follow the channel for real estate investing, you're gonna wanna stay tuned. First of all, because the things we look at in this school are absolutely insane. But on top of that, the way that this is going to impact the society when it comes to property tax, property values, and a myriad of other things, you're gonna wanna listen whether you're in Idaho Falls or not. There's a school bond that's about to be passed here in Idaho Falls, and I wanna talk about how that's going to impact the people here. I also wanna talk about these kinds of things when it comes to nationwide with our schooling, and so let's go take a look. Right. We got permission to come and tour the school. The principal is awesome and is willing to kind of give us a look. This school was actually built in 1952, so it's been around for a while, and it has a lot of issues, a lot of quirks, and unfortunately a lot of safety concerns. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this video is Uneducated Yogi is not for the school bond that's going to go through, and after doing some research, I am very pro the school bond, and we're going to kind of walk through and, I don't know, see if we can have a meeting of the minds on which one of us is in the right.
I'm pretty persuasive.
I wanted to give you an intro of a couple of our tour guides. We've got Scarlett here, and then I don't know your friends' names.
Oh, my name is Paige, and I'm Ellie.
Perfect. And they're going to give us a walkthrough tour, but the bell just rang, and the first major issue with the school that I wanted to show you is the size of the halls and the number of students for the size of the school. So let's come over here. One of the biggest issues of the school is it's just not big enough. You've got the modulars all over the place that are completely filled. The principal told us there's really not another space to put another modular, but they just need the class space. On top of that, when you walk the halls, you can see it's so congested to where if you did have any kind of emergency or safety issue, you would just be in real trouble.
One of the things that the principal mentioned that really stood out to me, he said when this school was built in 1952, it was meant to house only 800 students. At current capacity, they're close to 1,400, and with Idaho Falls, how it's growing, they're worried it'll be a lot more than that in just a year or two.
Yeah, it's good. So, these are tight quarters. And are all the urinals this way?
All the bathrooms are, yes.
The water sure is cold.
The other thing you quickly notice about the school is there's just decay everywhere. I mean, there are leaks all over in the ceilings. There are all kinds of broken things that have been patched together to make them work. And it's just not really an environment where I personally would want my kids going to school. Not just because, they're not gonna feel great being there, but it just isn't safe.
And right there we have the basement where there's actually a shooting range that is blocked off because there's lead poisoning.
There's lead poisoning. Is that a true thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It used to be an active shooting range, so there's lead in there.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
There's lead.
Well, you can't go in without like a mask.
I could show you guys.
Okay.
You can't probably take the students in, but if you want to walk.
I mean, you guys were complaining about the lack of science.
So this is the shooting range.
Right, so my understanding is kind of behind this plywood wall is the direction that they shot, and so you see on the door there's a lead dust hazard back there. It doesn't come out or anything, but because bullets have lead, there's a bunch of bullets and things in there, and then they concreted all this in to make it just kind of usable storage for us now, and that's all we use it for.
And you don't think we could turn this into a classroom?
There's been
more
talk.
space.
There's been talk. So yeah,
Awesome.
Without a window, I'm not sure.
And I don't think we gave you a proper introduction, but you're the principal of Idaho High School, Dr.
I
Powell.
am Chris Powell.
And we've also, one thing you said before we started this video and got permission to come and tour through is you and the teachers, you love the school and the history. Mm-hmm. It just isn't, it doesn't work for what you need.
For current education, we love the nooks and crannies, the uniqueness, even the fact that we have a shooting range in the basement that we're not using anymore, and there's a lot of characteristic in the building. We all love all of that, and it'll be hard to move out, but there comes a time where we just have to look at, it's time to move out, and it's time to move out for kids. So
Yeah. Dude, in the basement of the school, this for some reason stresses me out.
I think it's for like a therapy, like the doctor, the nurse.
Yeah, that's...
It's totally functional and it's very clean.
What's the most people you allow in the lunchroom?
the seating is for 200. So,
Okay.
and I mean, anybody who wants to buy lunch can come through. We serve about 200, 150 to 200 lunches a day. This year, last couple years it's been a little higher, but this year it's been a little bit lower.
So there are almost 1,400 students. Where does everyone else eat?
Usually off campus, or they bring their lunch.
Okay.
So a lot of kids, some kids will bring a lunch, and then a lot of kids will go. The younger kids will go across the street to the gas station within walking distance, and then the older kids will drive wherever they want to go.
Okay, cool.
That is, you know, the way that you retrofit electricity, because there were just no outlets, and you know you're gonna need things. So they bring a pole down from the ceiling, so that we can plug computers in for the teacher, or you know, internet, those kinds of things. There's quite a few rooms in this building that are done that way. Most of them, it's more on the wall somewhere than just right in the middle of the room, because it's a big science lab.
If students have classes in the modules, is this for like the bad kids? Like if you're bad, you go to...
Basically. It's like overflow, because we don't have enough room in our school, so.
I mean, it's probably nice to get some fresh air though, right?
I was looking into this, and this is actually the drainage for whenever it...
So when it filled up, that was actually its normal purpose. Like, that was what it's here for. But we're not supposed to use it to walk across, but we have to. They need to build us like a bridge. A sky bridge.
Now, with this practice field, it's where all of the overflow water goes. That means anything that ends up in the drains ends up here. And talking to some of the students, you have diapers, you have trash, you have condoms, you have needles, you have all kinds of nasty stuff that ends up here. And if they want to practice, somebody has to come clean it up. These are the other classrooms. What do you think? I like the bars. That's a nice accent. You said that there was actually a gas leak in these, so they had to shut them down.
So it wasn't actually a leak. We have gas pumps here that are actually functioning gas pumps, and so they vented, or you know, there was something, and the fumes, the smell of gasoline because of the direction of the wind, really built up in one of the classrooms, and you know, the teacher said, "I'm smelling gasoline." So we came out. We had all the pumps checked. We cleared the building out for about, you know, a little over an hour. Kids sat, fortunately it was nice weather, they sat up in the West Stadium, and we had them come out and check the gas pumps. There was nothing leaking. It's just the nature of, you know, you go to a gas station, it smells like gasoline. You go to a classroom, it shouldn't smell like gasoline.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually like the smell of gasoline. Now here's one thing I do have a major issue with.
How long have these buildings been here, though, and what were they used for before?
This was originally the transportation department for the district. So like where our current auto shop was, you know, bus garage and things like that. Transportation and maintenance was all out here through the West Stadium and in this building. That's why we have gas pumps outside.
I think this looks really cool.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, one of the issues is we can't keep water out.
Yeah.
The building has settled, so you'll notice like it slopes, the concrete and everything slopes down, and that's why the siding on the outside is all chewed up, and it's replaced, you know, every few years, or some of it, or, you know, try to fix it, but it's really hard to keep it out when the outside is higher up than the building.
Yeah.
Some staff parks over there. It's not really big enough. Some will park out in the civic parking lot. Some will park out on the street, just wherever's hopefully the closest to their classrooms.
One thing I did want to hit on, anyone I've talked to that is against the bond, their biggest reason for being against the bond is purely financial. They say, look, it's going to jack up our property taxes. Coming from someone that does own multiple properties in Idaho Falls, will it affect property taxes? Yes, it will. But it's also going to affect property values. I mean, anytime you're giving back to the community, to the schooling system, you're going to see that come back tenfold in my perspective to, one, just your society in general, but your housing, all of that. The other thing that I find interesting about this argument is Like, where are you going to spend money as a society? Do you really want to just say, hey, like, let the school go to hell, let it go to trash, and it is what it is? It's just like, what's the point, right? Where is it important for us as a society to put money, if not with the schools? Now, I, more than anyone, am opposed to just stupid spending on things, but when it's here in your community, to me, it just doesn't make sense when it's going to benefit IF High School, Skyline High School, and give kids a place that they can be proud to go in school, and not just proud, but safe.
Fair points.
So this is kind of unique. This is a civic hallway. So the civic auditorium is to our right. Everything to our right, basically right here. This is a property line, runs all the way down along this wall. Everything over here is Idaho Falls School District. Everything to the right is Idaho Falls City. So this band room that we currently use is actually the city. The art room that we currently use is actually the city. The Civic, people think that the Civic is part of Idaho Falls High School. It's not. We have to rent it out when it's available, just like everybody else. It's a city-owned property, not school district property. So it creates some unique things when the Civic has a big event. You know, they want to use all of these classrooms so that for dressing rooms and I don't know, food areas, things like that. And so the teachers have to keep things cleaned up and put away. And the issue happens during the day when, you know, we have culinary arts classes, choir classes, art classes, there's math classes down here. We can't close all of this off. And so if the Civic, if they're prepping for a show that night, there are doors. These are all kind of backstage to the Civic auditorium, and then there's doors up here that are kind of right in the lobby area of this Civic, and people can walk in. Usually they probably try to tell their people don't, and we tell them, you know, if we hear, hey, there's people doing makeup in the girls' bathroom, we'll come down and say, the school's open right now, you got to go back over to your side.
So when they are prepping for a show, though, essentially all this is open that
Yep.
just gives free access to the school.
Yeah, because we can't, so there's the gate right up here. We can't close that during the school day.
Because
it
school's
shuts
happening.
off. Right. If somebody comes through the doors, you know, they're in the middle of the school if they want to be.
Yeah. That doesn't sound good.
It's not our favorite thing.
Yeah. I don't know. After trying the school, I've had a couple thoughts. One of the big reasons I decided to make this video is I think it's really interesting. I think it will have an impact on property taxes for a lot of the properties that I own. And one of the things that got me thinking about it, I got a message and it said, hey Chandler, this may seem like a random question, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the multi-million District 91 school bond as a rental property owner, landlord? Just kind of like this leading question, and that's really the big question I've been asked a lot of people pushing for not passing the bond. It doesn't have anything to do with the safety of the students. It doesn't have anything to do with their education. It doesn't have anything to do with really just looking out for our society as a whole. It's just, hey, this is going to cost you money, and because of that, you shouldn't support it. Now, first of all, there's a great argument for the fact that spending money on a new school here is going to do awesome things for property values, for the education system, for our people, for just them being able to go to a school that's not only safe, but that they feel good and confident coming, learning, you know, progressing, doing all the things that we build education for. But for me, it's like, hey, if your only negative argument is the money, you're not someone that's going to get involved to try and fix these problems, you're not trying to better education, you're not trying to do anything other than you don't want to pay more money, I feel like you're on the wrong side of this issue.
When Chandler asked me to make this video, my first response was, no way are we passing that bond. I've got Billy to feed. I can't afford an extra $600, $700, $800 a month, ballpark. But as I've seen the school, as I've walked through it, and as I've really researched and done education and learned that in all reality it'll affect the average Idahoan, Idaho Falls resident by about $19 a month, I think it's way worth it. Like, money well spent. I would donate $19 a month to help these kids out all day, every day. And I think the people in this community should feel the same way, and hopefully most of you do, and hopefully most of you vote yes to pass this school bond. Billy agrees.
One other major selling point is not all of the money goes to IF High School. I think that's what's really cool is they're planning on building 2 more elementary schools, which we desperately need. They're planning on adding an auditorium and doing a ton of other fixes at Skyline High School.
Go
Let's
Grizz.
go.
Go Blue.
And revamping, well, not revamping, but building a new school for IF. And it's one of those things where, you know, I see these people out there saying no to the school bond, and it's like, really, you're gonna passionately fight after all of these problems to not go and build a new school for $19 a month. Like, it's that devastating to you. If you're one of those people, it's like, I just feel like you're missing the whole point of, I don't know, life?
Education's pretty important.
Yeah, it's good. So, these are tight quarters. And are all the urinals this way?
All the bathrooms are, yes.
The water sure is cold.
Hey guys, the last thing I want to say is if you are in the area, get out and vote. This is something that's important, and I very rarely get political or do videos like this, but to me it means a lot because I really believe that if a new school is built, it's gonna come back tenfold for our community. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell, and again, get out there and vote in your own communities. These are the things that really matter.